Welcome everybody to Zcast. I'm ZS Caravallo from ZK Research, and as always, I'm your host. I'm here for another thought leadership video. Today I'm joined by Raakhee Mistry, who's the Senior Director of Marketing for Cloud and Compute at Cisco. It's kind of a long title, Raakhee, so why don't you just tell us what you do?
Thanks, ZS. Thank you for having me today. Yeah, I am a marketing leader. I cover enterprise networking and cloud here at Cisco, and I'm really excited to talk about network as a service with this group.
Yeah, that's an exciting topic. It's relatively new, right? We've been talking about networks as a service for a while. Before we get started, though, I do want to thank eWeek, my media partner. All Zcasts are done as part of the eWeek eSpeaks program. Now, Raakhee, before we talk about network as a service, the Cisco network business has been really strong. And it's not just Cisco. I mean, a lot of your peers have been putting up growth numbers and things. And so what's driving network modernization today?
Well, there's definitely a number of different transitions our customers have been going through for several years. And, you know, everything from transitioning to multiple cloud services, SaaS services, recognition of applications becoming more distributed, continuous mobility and IoT adoption that's happening. Those were all in place for many years. But last year in 2020, the pandemic really accelerated all of these transitions even faster. And as the entire world moved to remote work and learning how to work in completely new ways, they were more and more dependent on the network. So we already, you know, the idea that your data center is moving to the cloud, your applications are moving to SaaS, that was creating more network dependency. Now, pretty much everybody was remote. And now the network plays even a more greater role. Customers are looking at what can I do to drive more automation. And as more and more traffic moves outside of their corporate environment, they need greater visibility or observability. And then even more important, I would say, is since there's less control for IT, it's security, and how does the security come right integrated with the network? So as customers are looking to modernize and prepare for what's next, which is hybrid work, right? We're in a world where people are going to continue to be remote, and we need to think about solutions to support them. But now we have a lot of companies already moving back into the office, and the office environment is changing. You're going to see a lot more video utilization because there are people that are part of the team that are not going to be there in person, and they're going to look for more rich collaboration because we want to all make the office experience remote or in the office equivalent, and that means, you know, how do we create the right video quality, the right collaboration tools, you know, and this is critical. This is critical for the employee experience, for their productivity, for the customer experience, for the engagement, and everybody's keen on making sure their network is top performance as well as secure.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned how the importance of the network has grown. I ran a survey a little while ago and I asked the respondents, since the pandemic began, do you believe the network's more important? And I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I think it was almost 2/3 of respondents stated that they felt the network was more important. And it's interesting too, because if you think of the center of gravity for IT, for a long time that was your compute infrastructure, and then it became the cloud. And I believe today it is the network. If you think about that cloud computing, mobility, a lot of the trends that you articulated, they're all network-centric paradigms. Right. So without a good network, you don't have good collaboration. You don't have good work from home. You don't have good cloud. You don't have good mobility. You don't have good IoT. So
without a network, you don't even have your business running. And that's really what it's come down to. And I know our customers, they're, you know, while at one time they were looking at efficiency, when the pandemic hit, it was all about resiliency. How do I make sure that these types of things that we can't predict don't stop us in our tracks? And now it's all about agility. It's all about, okay, I know I know there's many unknowns to come, but I need to be able to pivot quickly. And across the network or across their business, they're looking for their network and their network infrastructure to support all three: efficiency, resiliency, and agility.
Now, I know you had mentioned at the top of this broadcast, network as a service that Cisco recently announced. What is network as a service? It seems everything's available as a service now. So how does the network become available as a service?
That's right. Yeah, we all like as a service. We like the flexibility. We like, having new ways of consuming. Network as a service is in its infancy, and it's interesting because we actually surveyed our customers in a recent report around network as a service, and actually 36% of our respondents believe that they already have NaaS. Now, I think that got as people were looking at answering the question, they may have also mixed up their idea of a managed offering, right? And customers have been already looking to outsource and rely on partners, service providers, to deliver on networks in their environment as a managed offer. But network as a service is a little bit different. It's really looking at something that's a much more flexible consumption option. It should have the ability to turn up on demand. It can scale up and scale back based on usage. We do metering to understand utilization, and that's how the billing. It is a big shift from a typical CapEx to an OpEx model. All of those things are true. The way in which at Cisco we describe our network as a service is really one. So it should be cloud delivered, right? That flexibility, agility, usage-based consumption is absolutely, and that it's a model that allows our users to be able to acquire as well as orchestrate their network capabilities without having to own it, build it, maintain it at all. That's on us, Cisco, to deliver that with our partners. And really, this gives our customers the ability to elevate their game and take on more strategic roles in their organization with that. So, network as a service is a big paradigm shift. There's a lot of considerations for our customers as they go in this direction. But it is a new model, and we're all familiar with infrastructure as a service, software as a service. They're in broad adoption because of the flexibility. Because of the ability to also get the latest technologies. People want that from the network as well. It is a little bit more complicated because the network has to not only deal with all the regulatory and legal issues of managing equipment and data off the premises and into the clouds, but we have a lot of processing happening at different edges and branch sites and campus. So it's a new model that we are endeavoring with our partners, with our customers. We're learning along the way what is the right way to structure a network as a service so it serves our customers as they need.
So you had mentioned the P word, the paradigm shift, and it is. And so I'm curious, it's whenever you change things from a customer standpoint or even a partner standpoint, you always get a little bit of hesitation, right? So what's the feedback been like from your customers and partners about network as a service?
There is a lot of interest in this area. For customers, they are overwhelmed by the complexity of how networks have evolved and changed and what has been required for network operators to take on, right, for the business. The network as a service really opens up a new level of simplicity, takes off the burden of lifecycle management, takes off a lot of operational issues for them, and that will be a tremendous amount of freeing up of time. So that's a huge driver. Now, on the flip side is a control issue, right? Or control concern, I should say. They are concerned that, can any vendor, including Cisco, respond fast enough to my business changes? How do I make sure that, my security policies are enforced like we intend? All of these factors that they had full control over is something that they need to figure out how to move towards that. This is where the responsibility as we do network as a service is delivering on specific business outcomes as well as signing up for service level objectives or agreements with our customers. That's going to be important to building that trust, relaying the information as well. Now, you also asked about partners. Actually, partners are very excited about network as a service because they would like to see, as they're driving solutions with customers, the interoperability of different solutions from networking and security and collaboration and other technologies working together more seamlessly, where they can instead focus on higher order services, right? And this is going to improve their time to delivery. They're going to be able to have a lot more rich data about customer usage and utilization, and allows them to give guidance to their customers. Interestingly, as we looked at our data from our customers as they were looking and evaluating network as a service, they really do want to rely on their partners to support their journey. And that's because, there's a lot of transitions and choices to be made. And a partner that understands their operation in depth can be that trusted advisor to navigating this change. And the great news is our partner community is very much working with us hand in hand in the co-development to make sure that, we can build this out to support our customers' transition.
Yeah, I would imagine from a partner perspective, the data that they get from it alone would allow them to move more into predictive management and being a lot more proactive with helping their customers make changes versus the old way, which is reactive. And the problem with reactive is you never know. You're always responding to things that you didn't know were coming, right?
That's right.
So you're always behind the eight ball. And as a former, I was a Cisco partner one time. I was a Cisco customer, and managing the network reactively, shall we say, is no fun. So
yeah, well, the reactive management's upon the network as a service vendor. So in this case, Cisco, right? As we deliver on that, and that's our job to make sure we deliver to the expectations of the customer as well as our joint partner. And you're right. This is where you can get on your front foot as a partner and make sure customers are really thinking ahead. You can provide guidance and optimization that can really change the game of how competitive they are in the market, right? With new solutions, new ways of bringing in technologies, and knowing that they will actually succeed.
All right. So we talked about network as a service and, a little bit of the complexity and things. But if I'm a customer and I'm watching this, and I'm sure a lot of Cisco customers are, what are some of the benefits I'll get from moving to this network as a service model?
So, the thing that customers are looking for most is the resiliency and agility. That's actually something we learned from our survey, top priority. They're actually costs is far down on the list of savings, right? And I think there will be ways in which cost will become a part of the equation as they're doing the evaluation. They're going to be able to reduce their total cost of ownership because most customers spend 3 times the money on OpEx than they do on the CapEx, right? Yeah. So they're going to gain some benefits from that. But first and foremost, they're looking for agility, they're looking for resiliency. But one thing we did learn, though, when we talked to our customers in this survey was 46% felt that with a network as a service, they can focus more on innovation and business value, and also improve the response time to any disruption. And I think those are really good insights of how customers are looking at that. They also see that network as a service is going to give them an opportunity to advance their skill sets. So, one way I would say is, IT executives recognize that the work that IT teams are doing, which is incredibly valuable, right? They are making sure the network works and people are connected, but the time spent configuring devices and operating infrastructure is not something that the senior level business leadership are kind of giving them extra credit for, right? Those business leaders are looking for partners to think about how they transition. They want the IT team to understand the line of business operation and think about how can the technology evolve? How can they, support higher level services, build new applications to engage customers or support their employees. And we really are trying to see how, as we make this shift, we continue to help upskill our own IT professionals and networking professionals. There's DevOps skill sets that they can continue to advance and gain. AI ops is an area of practice that they can also continue to build out. So while on one hand for the business, it's all about more resiliency and agility that they're going to get, I think for the IT professionals, it's really a lift on their own opportunity to elevate their role in the organization.
Yeah, I think that's that's a really great point because I talk to customers all the time, and I read in the trade rags about how IT is falling behind, and as a former IT person, I take offense to that. IT is not falling behind; it's just gotten a lot more complicated. So if I want to keep my skill sets current, I can't continue to raise the bar on the infrastructure from a complexity perspective and do things manually, right? So I think Networks as a Service creates a lot of options. Now, I know you just had Cisco's Partner Summit. We've been talking about Cisco partners, and at Partner Summit, Cisco announced its new enterprise agreement model, so its new EA. How does Network as a Service and the enterprise agreement, how do they come together, or how are they related?
Okay, so they're actually parallel offers, if you will. So our enterprise agreement 3.0 that was introduced at Partner Summit is looking at the ways in which many of our customers are consuming our technology today. They're buying our hardware infrastructure and purchasing the correct software licensing. And that is going to be critical for our customers as they are bringing a lot more different solutions together across networking, security, collaboration, applications. It's going to make it much easier for them to purchase these all under one simple contract, and it gives them a tremendous amount of flexibility, right? And as well as the most advantageous terms on acquiring Cisco technologies. It isn't designed to be like our network as a service, which is a true flexible consumption, scaling up, scaling down on demand, only charging for based on metering usage, right? So it's a alternative option. So for our customers, as things continue to progress, and we've all heard our CEO, Chuck Robbins, share that we will continue to move forward and build the majority of our portfolio into as a service. What will happen is our customers will have choice. They will see solutions for remote workers. They'll see solutions for hybrid cloud. They'll see solutions for SASE, and they will have choices for, do you want to buy them with our software licensing and EA and consume in those modes, and we are simplifying those and making it easier for you? Or do you prefer a more flexible consumption model that has the metering? You want more of a turnkey solution. You want more of those types of capabilities on to the vendor and not take on ownership of the equipment. Then that's a model for you, and our customers can choose.
All right. Well, that makes sense, actually. So thanks for clearing that up. And also thanks for describing what Network as a Service is. I'm curious, where do you go next with Network as a Service?
So we're in the States. Well, let me start with, when we look at Network as a Service, we're actually looking at two different models for our customers. One is around what we're calling a turnkey Network as a Service. This is where it's much more prescriptive, but a lot faster and easier to integrate and adopt into your environment. That area, we're already doing some work in the area of SASE and getting customers doing a remote worker use case model. But we will expand on that. We will be adding to the remote worker our SD-WAN capabilities, our ZTNA capabilities over the span of next year. So those are in their early pilot states and expanding. We also have services that we want to give our customers all the flexibility to turn all the knobs the way they need to, right? A lot of our customers have that preference of more customizations into their environment. So what we are doing in this case is what we call a flexible consumption model. We are leveraging our Cisco technologies But we're bringing that metering capabilities and the model of Cisco Plus, where they can acquire and scale up and scale down very easily, but they will have a lot more control on how they implement and deliver on this. Again, Cisco will own the infrastructure. We will maintain and manage it and our partners will play a key role in that delivery. I just wanted to say that's just the beginning.
Okay.
We are learning quickly with our partners and our customers, but we look forward to just expanding further into more areas of networking, more areas of security, more areas of collaboration over time.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys went this way, because clearly everything else is moving as a service, and I'm glad you brought up the cost element too, and didn't hide the fact that sometimes it might be more expensive. And if you talk to customers that use cloud computing or computing as a service, sometimes it is more expensive, sometimes it isn't. But the agility that you get far outweighs any kind of cost issue and stuff. So often that winds up not even really being a factor once customers start to get an understanding of what it is. But by and large, customers do wind up generally paying less, I would assume. But I would guess that if that's the decision factor they're using to do it, then they're not thinking about it correctly. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Most customers are not looking at as a service in that way. They are looking at time to market. They're looking at agility to turn as the business requires. And really that's what as a service is designed to do. We will be providing a lot of rich information to customers to understand their usage models. We'll provide guidance on, okay, maybe you should look at a different type of contract for the ways in which your customer or your users consume. There will be ways to optimize that. And we are trying to set up the contract so there's some sort of understanding of what the upside of the cost will be. But it is cost will not be the best. If cost is your priority, that isn't necessarily the right, as a service is not necessarily the right choice. It is about agility, it's about resiliency, and that's what it's delivering to our customers.
Well, and to wrap up the point on agility, and to wrap up the Zcast, then I'll quote Todd Nightingale, who's an ELT member and runs all networking at Cisco. I think the last time I talked to him, he talked about agility being IT's new superpower. So if you're watching this, you're in corporate IT, if you don't have agility at your fingertips, then you're going to wind up falling behind. So anything else you want to add, Raakhee?
Yeah, I want to say that for our customers, I know this could be feeling like a leap, but I do want to recognize that it's a good thing to get out. We have a report available around network as a service to explore your options on how to get started. And it's something that you can start small in one area, see how it works for your organization, and then expand. It's not an all or none proposition. And certainly something to consider as you're thinking about evolving your IT teams and moving towards playing a different role in your organization where you are elevated to that strategic partner and freeing up your IT resources.
Okay, well, I'm glad you mentioned the report, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to include the link in the bottom of the YouTube description, and people can go download the report themselves.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, Raakhee, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I always enjoy these times together. So thanks for joining me on Zcast, and if you're watching this, don't forget to click the subscribe, and I'll see you next week on Zcast.